I caught up with Deli out here fishing streamers in the sun. Let's see if we can show a little bit about the super pause. Hey, there he is.
Yeah, a little bit faster over there.
So talk it through. What are you trying to do with it?
Trying to get it close to that bank and kind of sit it there. So the river's pushing once it gets about 4 or 5 feet off the bank. So the closer I can keep it to the bank longer, the better chance I think I have of catching a fish. The main river's pushing hard. So if I want to fish the main river, I'd fish a heavier fly. The bank over there is maybe a little less than a walking pace. And so I'm switching flies because I want to leave it, I want it to pause. If I'm using that heavier fly and I pause it over there, it's going to sink to the bottom and probably have a better chance of hanging up. And so I've switched flies. I want to put it on the bank and leave it there.
Because the heavier it is, the more you got to move it.
Yeah, you're kind of compensating that you have to strip it, otherwise it's going to hang up. Where if it's less weight, you can put it in there and let it hang. The pause is basically the lack of stripping in this case. So I'm going to high stick it, hold it high, let the fly kind of just sit in that mid column because we're probably fishing 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet of water. So the other way to kind of get a pause is to put slack in your system. So if I'm constantly tight, I'm going to pull the fly.
Yeah.
So if you notice my sighter, it gets twitched and then I'll let it sit kind of on the water. I give it slack and I let that fly kind of hover in that zone. That must be the hogfish marker there.
It's a good marker for you.
Yeah.
Big trout sits right under the bobber in the tree.
That's what the kids tell me. Oh, there he was.
So when you first explained that super pause to me, I was thinking you weren't really moving it at all. But I could see there's tension on the fly, which kind of keeps it moving anyway.
Yeah, it's impossible to completely pause it.
Yeah.
And suspend it, at least in the water we fish through. But there are situations where you have a back eddy, an up current, where you can stick it in there and you can physically like pause it for as many seconds as you want.
Yeah.
Because it's just the water type allows you to do that.
And because the streamer's light.
Yeah. So like if you threw a heavier streamer in there, it would sink. You could suspend it with your rod, because, like if you had tension on it, you could suspend it with your rod, but it's more work. And you can only do that at such a distance.
Yeah. So on the way up there, I was watching, and you're moving the rod to kind of change the tension angle in a way.
Yeah. If you think about a streamer, it's coming down to you.
Yeah.
I think I said earlier, it's like a bowling ball. Like if you let it gain speed down the hill, at the end of it's going to continually get faster.
Yeah.
And so you have to put speed bumps in that retrieve to slow it down.
Sweet.
And so sometimes it's switch the rod and twitch upriver, even though it's coming towards you. If you twitch the fly upriver, it put brakes on it, it shoots the fly upstream, and then you leave slack in that system, that fly will suspend, maybe it's 6-8 inches, it depends on your current speed, but it's putting kind of a pause in there because you've twitched it upstream. Ah, missed them.
Do you feel the hits?
Not always.
Right.
And that's a problem. So like a lot of times, if I put it in a spot where I think there could be a fish and I'm pausing it there, I'll set out of it sometimes.
Yeah.
It just depends on, ideally, you can, if you're fishing to an area that has no glare and you can see, this morning it's all glare. We're fishing all black water.
Yeah.
And so it's a guessing game. Like the fish that I missed, if I would have saw him move to the fly, I might have been able to pause it or might have been able to manipulate it so he could have eaten it better.
Yeah, right on.
So here's a good spot where you can stick it on the bank and you can pause it as much as you want, right? So I'm still on the bank, I come off, I twitch, let it hang.
What about the rig, Deli?
So the rig's pretty simple. It's whatever mono section, butt section you want. For the most part, I've got 14-pound butt section into sighter section, tippet ring, and 1X tippet.
Yeah.
And so if you look, that's all I have for my tippet section.
Oh, that is short. You are not trying to get deep.
I'm not trying to get deep. And also, If you shorten all that stuff up, it creates a lot less play kind of in this area. And so it's stiffer, and it turns over faster, and it also, I think it's more accurate. With maybe that turnover gives you more accuracy, but the more tippet that I put on here, the less accurate I become.
Gets floppy.
It gets floppy.
What's your favorite water type for this super pause?
Slow tail outs, that's kind of what we've been fishing. That or just structure. So I'm gonna try to tuck it on the bank and leave it there, basically. Bring it off, flip it, let it ride. Now it's too fast.
They exist. Find a dumb one.
On the dumb one. On Santa Claus.
Oh, that's on the Santa Claus
Yeah.
variation. That's funny. So there's the Grinch, there's the Ric Flairiant, and Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
There he is.
Pretty much what streamers are.
Christmas
They got
ornaments.
They got tinsel on them.
Yeah.